Lovely mid-double mirror coming, 5 minutes after a recast. A soft hinge with a yellow pop-up, cast to where I saw a show. And literally 2 or 3 minutes later off it went, just shows. Being active, watching the water and moving them rigs to where the fish are showing, results in stunners like this. Well, what a cracking start to the spring that lovely scaly mirror was. Just under £20, weighing in at £19.8, caught from Peg 8, Sunnyside One. This video, I'm going to tell you all you need to know about tactics and tips regarding spring fishing here at Wyreside. So as you'll all know, in the spring, the fish start moving a lot more, start visiting areas they've not visited for a few months through the winter, the shallows, the upper layers, right up on the surface, in the snags. They're proper mobile at this time of year, the fish. So, as always, your eyes and your feet are the most important thing at this time of year. Walk round, find them fish, spend time. You'll often see fizzing, cloudy water, cruising fish, showing fish. Proper keep your eyes open, wear a cap and polarized sunglasses to aid you in fish location. He's away! He's away! The second one of the morning, I've only been on a couple of hours, shows them single up baits, cast to where you've seen fish, gets your bites. Give it a go. One of the 18, that mate. Walk the 4 off 30. There she goes. Bosh! Number two, and one of the big ones. There you go, £29 of Sunnyside One mirror carp. Just goes to show, position them singles where you see fish and you can catch fish like this. Literally, that rod had been in a couple of seconds and off it went again. What an absolute stunning fish, and £29. I am happy with that to start off my spring. Come on 2024, let's be having you. In regards to hot areas for the spring, as I've mentioned, the fish start visiting areas they haven't visited all winter, and these can be really good to get good hits because they've not been fished there for a while. So Sunnyside One, I would be concentrating, especially if the sun's out and you've got milder temperatures, pegs 2, 3 and 4, fishing across to the road. You'll often find fish there in the spring. On Sunnyside 2, they proper start venturing into the corners. Peg 1, 9 and 18 would be my starting point, looking for fish in the spring. And on Foxes, you've got a big bar in the middle of the lake, what's nice and shallow. So if there's any sun, any warmth, concentrate your rods on that bar. I'm sure that'll do your bites. Once you have found the fish, I wouldn't go around leading about, because at this time of year there isn't too much weed around, and you want to make as little disturbance as possible. As I've already mentioned, the fish are very mobile and active to move. So when you get on the fish, you want to position rigs out on the fish with minimal disturbance. At this time of year, they do often spend a lot of time up in the upper layers. So my approach would be zig rigs. Remember to keep changing your colours on zigs, because day by day it could change from yellow to black to red. And also the depth is crucial. Every hour or so, if there's fish in front of you, keep recasting them zigs, moving them a foot up, a foot down. You can use adjustable zigs. I'm not a fan. I always use fixed zigs, but to keep me flowing in my session, I always pre-tie plenty. And also, single up baits are a winner at this time of year. Very little bait, single up baits, solid bags, sticks, that sort of thing. You're just going for a bite, minimal disturbance, and because you want so much attraction, trying to snare that bite, yellow, orange, pink would be my go-to hook baits. Just fished on a longish boom, soft boom, roddy rig. And that's all I'd use. It'll fish pretty much anywhere because there's hardly any weed at the moment, and you can just keep repositioning them onto all the signs of the fish. If you get this right, you will catch a lot more fish this spring. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how easy it is to fish zigs, because a lot of people I speak to on the walk rounds are very nervous about tangling zigs, how to tie them. So I'm going to give you a quick guide how I fish zigs. First of all, you'll need a zig hook link. This one's Fox Zig and Floater line in £15, but all the companies do them, and they're all equally as good. So start off by just peeling a little bit of line off and tying a simple overhand loop. This is going to form your hair, like so. Nice and small, because you want this loop inside the piece of zig foam. Just trim your tag ends off, and that just leaves you a loop. Now you need a hook bait. For zigs, I normally use foam, all different colours depending on the day and the conditions. Normally I use around 10mm of the zig foam, so I'll just cut 10-12mm section off. Slide that onto my baiting needle, and that's on there lengthways onto the baiting needle. And then I'll just slide that onto the little loop. I put the zig foam on first because you want the hook really tight to the foam. So the best way to measure it is by putting your hook bait on before you tie the hook on. Now you just need a boilie stop, and that's your hook bait on. Now you need to peel off the length of zig, roughly what you want. I'm in peg 8 now, and the average depth out there is 6 foot, so I'm going to go for around a 4 foot zig. So I'm going to make sure I've got over 4 foot, like so. Trim that off, and then now you need a hook. My hook of choice is a size 6 called a wide gape. So I'll take one out of the packet, and then grab your zig line and thread this through the back of the hook, like so. And then pull the hook all the way down to the foam. I want the foam just up onto the straight bit of the hook, so pretty much level with the barb. Once you've got that, hold it in position with your thumb and finger, and then wrap down the hook. I normally wrap right down to the foam. 17 turns that time, and you can see that's really tight up to the foam. You've only got a 2mm gap. And then I wrap back up the hook once just to keep it neat. Find the end of your zig line, and this goes back through the back of the hook, like so. Make sure you keep that hair pinched in there so it doesn't slip off. Pull that all nice and tight. And then on the hook end of things, that is the finished result. So now what you need is an anti-tangle sleeve. Always use an anti-tangle sleeve with zigs, because as they say on the packet, anti-tangle. Thread this on, thin end first. Once that's on, slide it down to the hook for now so we can measure the zig. So when fishing zigs, some people just guess. I like to measure everything to the inch, because sometimes 2 or 3 inches could be the difference between catching and not. So last thing you want to do is put a zig out there, not know how long it is, get a bite, damage the zig and not be able to replace it exactly the same. So 6 foot of water out there, I'm going to start 2/3 up, so I'm going to go with a 4 foot zig. So 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot. Okay, so that is my 4 foot mark there. Just now allow an inch extra for the loop. Trim that off there. Just tie a figure of 8 loop. Like so. Give it a good moisture. Pull that nice and tight. Trim away the tag end. You don't need to go too tight with the tag ends because it's going to be underneath your anti-tangle sleeve. And that is my finished zig rig. As simple as that. So now I'm going to show you how I'd put that onto my rod and the lead system I'd use. It's just a straightforward lead clip setup. Just remember, when zig fishing, you don't want any tubing on or anything, because it's just something else for your zig to catch on and could potentially cause a tangle. So get a tail rubber, thin end on first. Get a lead clip, again, thin end on first. And then a quick change swivel, size 8, so it locks in nicely to the leg clip. Tie that on with a 5-turn knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Moist it down through the loop, just like so. Pull that down nice and tight. Give it another moist down. Bed that in. Grab a pair of scissors. Trim away the tag end. And then that gives you that. No tubing behind. Simple leg clip setup. And then you just take your zig. Slide that onto the clip. Pull the tail rubber right over till it hits the base of the swivel like so. Pull the leg clip onto the swivel till it clicks, and then you just need a lead. When zig fishing, I tend to use a big lead, 3 ounce absolute minimum. Just slide that onto the clip. Dampen it down. I don't ram the tail rubber on, just put it on about 1/3 of the way. That can come off if it comes into any contact with any snags or anything like that. But I don't drop them every bite with zigs. I know a lot of people like it, I just don't see the need. And that's what you have it. Naked line, to your leg clip, anti-tangle sleeve, zig line, size 6 hook, black foam. One thing to take into consideration when you're casting zigs out, they are long, so make sure there's nothing behind you. You don't want to be snagging a bivvy, causing crack-offs, stuff like that. And it is paramount that before the lead hits the water, you stop it a good 3-4 foot up. So when the lead stops, the light bit of zig foam can flick out. Well, what a beautiful way to end this video, and what a great way to start my spring. Lovely 17-pound common. This time fall into a 3-foot black zig, cast at a showing fish. Then I get this one slipped back. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the bank sometime soon.